I got to go. So, anyways, as I'm live, I'm getting ready for church. It is Sunday morning, and the title of my video on YouTube, there's no title on TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well over here on this camera. I decided to call it A Scheme Set Up by Todd because a funny live that we had yesterday, if y'all missed the live yesterday on TikTok, why aren't you following me on TikTok? And if you don't know the saying right now, because trends are gonna pass. So probably in a month from now, no one's gonna know what I'm talking about, especially the younger ones. So there's a singer. Her name is Candy. She's a part of a former girl group called Escape. She's now on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and her husband are going through a divorce. Her husband, his name is Todd, and you know how it is. You're on reality TV, and now that she's going through a divorce, a lot of people are kind of going back to older clips about, when they first got married, their arrangement. The thing is, Candy is very, very successful. Candy is an entrepreneur. Candy can sing, can write. She's written so many songs. She's written Bills, Bills, Bills. She's written and has a really lengthy, thank you for joining the live, y'all. Keep liking the live. She's a boss babe. Let me just put it that way, and for her to be going through the divorce, the thing is, everyone is saying that the guy she married, she's doing better than financially. And from the very beginning of their marriage, he tried to get her to not sign a prenup. I'm not saying he was after her money, but he was thinking with the end in mind, and he wanted to leave with something he didn't come in with. He wanted to leave with a little piece of change in his wallet. You know what I mean? He wanted to leave with some stability. And I know people like to proactively tell women don't get a prenup to get his money. And then when men do it, when it's time for a man to not, get your money leaving, men want to vouch, see how it's double standards. I want to be really clear that double standards only exist because one party is trying to get the upper hand. Okay. I know the whole point of women going after men's assets after the marriage failed is because, one, women are pouring a lot into a marriage. Two, childbearing and raising a person is something a man can never do. He can't ever raise a child. He can't ever sacrifice his body. And women cannot work during that time. So you're going into a marriage. Let's say you're having kids. You're not doing surrogacy. You're already putting yourself on the chopping block to have to take the shorter end of the stick. Your legs aren't working like they used to. Your joints aren't working like they used to. You're taking the risk of your life coming to an end just by going through the childbirth process. There are a lot of things that come with being pregnant. There are a lot of things that you have to take a step back and stop doing once you become a wife. You got kids. I don't have any children. That I feel like the whole intention of alimony and a woman getting half is because of those very things. Oftentimes in marriage, men actually earn more. Men's lifespan actually increases. Women stay alive longer when they're single. When women get married, their lifespan does get shortened. A lot of the times, thank you for liking the live, y'all. A lot of the times, the most dangerous person a woman is going to meet is her husband. A lot of the times, their abusers are their partners for the side of women. I can't speak for the side of men because I'm not a man. And I do know there are men that get abused. But if we're looking at the numbers and not looking at our feelings, women are putting themselves in risky situations to be assaulted by the man they chose to marry. So I feel like the whole point of creating this whole alimony and getting half, thank you for liking the live on TikTok, y'all, was to ensure a woman's safety while exiting that relationship. Because back in the day, when marriage was truly invented, it was invented for business. It was not invented for love. Marriage was a partnership. They encourage you to marry such and such because of the property and the assets. It'd be great partnership. I feel like people that are less than, and you know how it is when we see rich people having something that people that have less want, we try to obtain it in our own way. So that's how love came into it. That's how I personally feel men with less than were able to still get marriage. Marriage was intended to be a business, to be a partnership between two corporations to become one, to build a bigger business. It was never intended for love. If we look way, way back in the day when men were actually had dynasties, had legacies, were actually coming from kingdom. Okay? We clear? That's why people emphasize on the firstborn being a son, because that legacy continues. Nowhere in history were women, the firstborn women, able to become a queen. They had to marry into that. They had to marry to get that status, while men only had to be the firstborn and come from that. And they're automatically a king. Boom, that's it. So we wanted to make sure that the king had a legacy, meaning a son, to pass off all his assets to. Women couldn't divorce men. These men would have concubines, different women as they sleep with, but women couldn't do anything about it because we were not allowed into the workforce. It was unheard of at that time. It was just you, your husband, and that's your job. You're a wife. You have to put up with his stuff, okay? I'm saying all this for a reason. I'm going to pick it up a little bit. Thank you for liking the live. Keep liking the live. So now that we're no longer in this line of monarchy or patriarchy, we kind of still are, but it's not as strong. Women were forced into the workforce once they had to send men off to war. You sticking with me? It wasn't until men couldn't physically be there and they had to be sent off to war to fight for our country that women were thrown in. We didn't want to be put in. We wanted to stay home with our husbands who were probably abusing us. And I'm saying us as in women. I don't have a husband. I haven't been abused. Thank you, Jesus. Women were thrown into the workforce. And now we saw, okay, now we're learning stuff. Now we're being taught things. Now we have to be the ones that handle finances. We have to be the one to do so many things we didn't have to worry about before. So when men came back, a shift happened. Things that women used to do, wake up early in the morning, have that hair done. If you look at old school movies, you'll see women waking up the crack of dawn and putting on a little bit of makeup, uncurling their hair, and going right back to sleep next to their partner. Their partner didn't even know they left the bed to put a little bit of makeup on. And their partner's like, oh my gosh, you always look so beautiful. But their partners were still cheating. I'm going somewhere with this. Now that we're in this day and age where we get to choose, it's been an uproar ever since. Men used to call us witches. I really think the term witch came from when women would reject men. I really believe that. I got to do more research to confirm. Oh, Lord. Got to do my makeup. Hey, y'all. So the whole point of the scheme set up by Todd was this man, and Candy's mom never liked Todd. And I want to tell y'all something. Moms always know. There have been times where if I would have listened to my mom, I would have been so much further in life. I would have been so much further. When my mom would be able to just look at a man 10 seconds and be like, not him. And I always would think she just didn't want the best for me. She was my age before. Why she won't let me live? Now that I'm in my 30s, there are so many men within my first interaction. I can tell if he's about to come over here to waste my time, just to have a good time at my expense. Like I said, in marriage, and it kind of translates into relationship, women put their bodies at risk dealing with men because of the fact that it can result in a pregnancy. Men do not have to carry children for 9 months. Men do not have to raise children. It's frowned upon when a woman isn't the one that has custody of her child. It's frowned upon. Women hold each other to such a high standard when it comes to children. Did you know Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world? Why isn't it Father's Day? Or why isn't Father's Day the third most celebrated holiday? There's a reason. So the whole point of the scheme set up by Todd is Candy decided to, take a chance on a man that honestly, financially, he doesn't make sense. Financially, she's doing better than him. And I know men like to say, women and all these degrees, we don't care about the degrees. We were forced into a workforce. We were thrown. Thank you for joining my live. Like the live, y'all. We were thrown into a workforce that we didn't want to be in. And now that we've figured it out, we've mastered and excel. This is the first time in history the birth rate is as low as it is. This is the first time in history women are choosing to have their children in their 30s instead of in their 20s and teens. The first time in history, you're living a historic moment if you're alive right now. More women have the option to tell men no because we don't need their money. We figured it out. And then the sad part is we figured out money so well that we know when they're doing bad financially without having to see their finances. We can tell they have poor money management skills just by the way they move, just by the lifestyle, just by the way they brag. We can tell these things because we were thrown into the workforce. Now we know how to do things we didn't know how to do many, many years ago. We are living our ancestors' dreams right now. There's a woman that wanted to leave her marriage. This is the first time in history we can do so much. We can sign mortgages without a man's name. We can get birth control without a husband. There's so much autonomy over our bodies. Why do you think they're trying to take away, they're trying to not see nurse practitioners? Why is it a female dominated field that they're attacking right now? They're trying to throw us back into the days where men can leave us pregnant and barefoot. They're doing their best. The government is now trying to get in bed with us, y'all. They are trying to take over what we got going on. So the scheme set up by Todd is basically, Candy is this really successful woman. She fell in love. Remember, I told you marriage is a business. It's not for love. She fell in love, but guess what? Candy is still a businesswoman. Candy was adamant that he sign a prenup. And she wasn't trying to say, I take this, you take that. She basically said, we all have assets. We should leave what everybody came in with. Nothing more, nothing less. Just leave what you came in with. So whatever you have right now is what you will leave with. You're not coming over here to take mine, and I'm not going over there to take yours. You see in the videos, Real Housewives of Atlanta, you see the recaps now more than ever because she's going through a divorce. But you see when the mom was basically saying she don't like Todd, which, like I told y'all, moms always know when guys are good or even worth it. You see that the day before the wedding, y'all, 24 hours before the wedding, Todd still has not signed the prenup. He says that his attorney, and I want to say allegedly because I never saw the episode, I only saw the clip. And if you see a clip of something, you can take it out of context. And I don't want to take it out of context. But allegedly, Todd didn't sign the prenup because his attorney never explained what was said in the prenup, what the negotiation was. He called his attorney. His attorney didn't answer. Like, they're sitting on the footsteps while the wedding decorator, I guess it is, the wedding person, event planner, is literally setting up the tables, designing the hall. They're literally on the steps. Their wedding is tomorrow, and Todd has not signed the prenup. Todd calls his attorney don't answer. So Candy calls her attorney answers. Her attorney is like, she says to her attorney, why didn't you explain what's going on? Why don't you explain to me what's going on with Todd? She said, to my explanation, his attorney didn't explain it to him. And when someone's attorney repped, you cannot speak to them. If you have a situation today and you decide to get an attorney, anyone else involved legally cannot speak to you. They can't explain nothing to you. They can't anything. That's the whole point of when an attorney sends a letter of representation, an LOR. It's basically saying, this is my client. I will communicate. I will explain things to him. Do not explain anything to him. Even if you know the answer, even if it's a simple answer, do not explain anything to him. That's the attorney's responsibility. If you break that, thank you for liking the live, y'all. If you break that contact and you explain anything to my attorney, and I specified in the letter not to do it, I can sue you. That's a fee. So that's why once you get an attorney, people are really hush hush with you. They're like, ooh, I can't touch them. It's like almost a gag order. Okay. Let's keep going because my video on YouTube is called A Scheme Set Up by Todd. So if you're just joining in, you missed it, you can also go to YouTube and watch the whole thing for as long as YouTube allow. So the Scheme Set Up by Todd is basically a man who was not doing that. I'm not saying he was bad. He was doing bad. But Candy's that girl. If y'all know Candy, Candy owns multiple businesses, multiple restaurants. She does Broadway. She's like the definition of the it girl, the it woman, honestly. She can sing, she can dance, she can write. She has a line of adult toys. She's in so many different fields. She's a whole corporation. Candy married for love, but also had the mindset of business, the intention of what marriage was, a business. So while she's trying to make this marriage official, she's trying to do it from a business aspect. And this man who has less than her, no offense to Todd, he's not thriving like Candy is. This man who has less than her is trying to get her to focus on the love aspect. That's why I feel like a lot of men who are doing worse than you need you to focus on love. A lot of men who need you to go 50-50, they need you to focus on love, because love is the quickest way for you to let God you down and automatically trust somebody without vetting them, because I love him. Let me tell you something. If you ask married couples now, is love enough? They're all going to say no. Love is never enough for a marriage, for something really long term, because guess what? Love fades, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that's just in marriages, that's in life. Have you ever had a friendship you fell out with someone and y'all not talking? That love faded for a moment, or maybe you got it back, or maybe it never came back. Thank you so much. So the whole point of me putting this video as a scheme set up by Todd is because I have become one of the ladies that has stopped dating for love. And I realized now that I'm no longer a part of the scheme set up by Todd committee, I can't be bombarded, love bombed, I like you, confusion, talking phases, situationships. Now that I'm more direct and I'm telling myself every day, I speak life over myself. I'm ready for something serious. I'm ready to receive my husband. I'm going to tell you now, the moment you get serious about your life and the direction it's going, the devil is coming after you. The devil is sending his best warriors. Lucifer is sending his best. Lucifer is going to send that addiction that you had to fight. Lucifer is going to send that situation you had to pray yourself out of that kept you in crippling debt. Lucifer is going to remind you of the person you once were. This is why I'm getting ready for church, y'all. There is literally a battle over my life because I don't want to succumb to the things that try to kill me. Because I'm choosing the higher road, because I'm choosing better for my life, because I'm looking at my life. I'm looking at so many women behind me that married for love, that stayed in poverty. Now I'm looking ahead. I have the option to go to work. I have the option to get a degree. I have the option to advance myself. Why is the government trying to slow women down right now? Why is society so focused on women? There are no laws on men's bodies, only on women. Why are y'all trying to say nursing is not a profession? Why didn't y'all say finance is not a profession? Why did you go for a female-dominated profession that is taxing on the body? Nursing is very taxing. You do more than the doctors and you're underpaid. Yes, I don't see the point of marrying for love. Men really don't love anyways. This is the first time in history. I'm dead serious. I saw it on the news. They said this is the first time in history they did a survey with girls in high school. I think it was from 11th grade to senior, which is 12th grade. This is the first time in history women, I want to say girls, because every time I say women, men become pedophiles. 18 does not make you grown. This is the first time in history that girls in high school do not see themselves getting married. This is the first time in history girls in high school do not see themselves getting married. They're more focused on a career than running behind a man, than going to college for a man, than having a man and changing their last name. This is the first time in history the birth rate is so low. This is the first time in history women are choosing to have children at 30 instead of their 20s when they were naive and their brain wasn't fully developed. This is the first time in history women, especially Black women, are out earning and out educating their male counterparts. Do you see all the attacks happening to us, ladies? I'm proud of them because we are doing better than men. Because we're doing better, because we educated ourselves, because we woke up. We woke up to the facade. The scheme set up by Todd is the government, y'all. That's what I'm trying to get to. The scheme set up by Todd is the government. The scheme set up by Todd is that ex that won't leave you alone and he want to know if you're still dumb, which happened to me yesterday. But I decided no more. I'm done with men that just want to be casual about me, that are not sure where they want me in their life, but they know they want access. When a man is insulting you, but trying to use you at the same time, he's just trying to insult you to break you down to where he is so he can get you. You are already above him if he has to break you down. You're already above him when he has to say, I like you better with no makeup. You're already above him when he asks you to go 50-50, even if it's one time. Because one thing about a woman, let's say you buy a house with a man. Even if you put one penny towards that house, a woman will never respect you. I'm telling y'all this. I know this makes men mad, but I'm telling y'all the truth. Just like women don't like the truth of men just want to sleep with us. If a woman puts one penny towards that house, she's not going to respect you. She's really going to talk to you like, this is my house too. This is exactly how she's going to talk to you. But when he buys the whole thing and shows you he's a man, he got it. You remember the trend on TikTok where they went up to their husbands or their partners and said, I can't help with the mortgage this month. A lot of women were finding out a lot of women are not going half with their partners for the mortgage. A lot of women were realizing, oh my gosh, some of y'all are going half and some of y'all are not going half at all. There are men out there that will do it. Even if a woman has to go in her purse one time, she will not respect you. She will not respect you. And men think just because I did this, but that one time, I'm telling you how women are built. I'm sorry. I know y'all hate that because on YouTube, they be trying to attack me. I know y'all hate that. Even if I had to go in my purse one time and I dated you for 3 years, I'm not going to respect you. I'm sorry. That's why women like dating older men, because they're so much farther in life. They're more established. That's the whole point. But then you got these older men that don't want to be having to pay for stuff. They still aren't mature mentally. They still think they got it. They still think they're a player, and they be in their 50s. They'd be like, I don't feel 50, but you look it. I don't look that bad. And they really expect 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds, good case in point, Shannon Sharp, 56-year-old man or 53-year-old man dealing with a 19-year-old. He bragged about, oh, I only date my wage. And he turned that girl to a multi-millionaire. He turned that girl into a multi-millionaire because he couldn't control his lust. Thank y'all for the likes. I think I'm getting questions.